Challenges and solutions in warehousing. Well, joining us today to speak about that, Jake Heldenberg, Head of Solution Design, Warehousing North America at Vanderlande. Jake, great to see you. Welcome.
Hey, thanks, Russell. It's a pleasure to be here.
Jake, let's kind of set it up if we might, and talk about the challenges that the industry is facing, what it's having to deal with, what it's going through. So, walk us through that. What would you say?
Yeah, it's quite a bit. More specific to labor challenges, of course. I think you're going to hear a lot of that, not only today, but in the near and far future. What you see, if you look at the metrics, especially in the U.S., North America, Western Europe, declining birth rates, things like that, is preventing a new emerging workforce from entering this warehouse market. So labor is one of the key constraints that we hear about. Additionally, obviously, with the boom of e-com during the pandemic, it's really sustained, and we're seeing that growth come back. So now, getting deliveries to customers on time, next day, second day, all of the above. So how do I supplement my warehouse with labor that doesn't exist to get these orders to consumers who are trying to buy this product? So it's all of the above, really. The challenges haven't gone away. They're only getting exacerbated by the current market.
Isn't it just as simple as throwing money at the problem? That way you get all the workers that you need?
I,
Is it not that simple?
I wish it were. I mean, if you do throw some money, maybe you can solve it. But yeah, if you throw money at the workers, ultimately what happens is you start spending so much money and getting not much of a return. So look, for example, at some of the customers who are in a market with only one or two DCs in their portfolio. What happens to them is that market, if you are, say, in Atlanta, that market gets tapped out eventually. Yes, there's so many laborers in Atlanta, there's so many people there, but with turnover rates so high right now because the labor force does not want to work in a warehouse, they go there, they start moving cases and packages. All of a sudden they go, I don't like this, they leave. Well, eventually you've pulled that whole labor market down to where everyone who's already available has now worked in your warehouse, they're not going to come back. So really, it does make sense. Maybe I can throw additional dollars per hour as a wage at the labor market and get a return, but at some point that return starts to fade. So the only thing left is truly automation.
Well, you do set up a situation that seems dire for a number of companies. So I guess the question is, how do we make it attractive? What must we do? Now, you mentioned automation. We want to get into that in just a moment. But is there anything short of that we can use, that we can do to make the situation attractive?
The short term right now is to try and make your workplace a fun environment. Frankly, especially the youthful generation that's coming up now, they understand, hey, I want to be in a place that respects me, that makes my work fun. So things like ergonomics, things like gamification, you see a lot of that as a very short term resolution to the current challenge.
All right, now let's turn to automation. Let's talk to solutions, literally, to our problem, and of course, literally in terms of technology. What is going on there? Walk us through that.
So the solutions right now that you see is really trying to, again, optimize and make your work more ergonomic or more fun, better. We see that studies are clearly showing that employees like working around automation, for example. So any form of automation is already bringing work into the warehouse and preventing it from leaving. The turnover is driven by obviously this hard labor. Well, if I can bring in some automation, whether it be shuttles or AMRs, I mean, you see all of that. You walk around the show today, you're going to see all of that as well. But all of that is bringing value to your employees so that they can focus on the things that they do really well or that might be fun or challenging. We see also businesses who invest in automation already that they're allowed to now take their workforce, their labor that they already have, and put them in more value-added positions. So something where they feel like this employee is bringing value to the organization, bringing value to the warehouse, bringing value to the customer.
Now, you mentioned we're speaking to each other at the show, being ProMat, where there is any number of interesting types of automation, that are making life, much more interesting, as you say, in the warehouse. Walk us through more specifically. Let's drill down into some of the automation that is on tap right here, that we might want to be thinking, that viewers might want to be looking at in terms of implementing in their warehouses. What would that be?
I mentioned two of them already, AMRs and shuttles. We see a lot of customers who look at AMRs as a kind of a stepping stone, an opportunity to optimize their picking operation, their put away operation, without having a massive investment, but knowing that 3, 5, 7, 10 years from now, that their growth is going to project them past the point of AMRs, giving them the full return, and into shuttles or something that's even more automated. For example, it would be shuttles feeding maybe a robot, or shuttles feeding a goods to person station, where I've had that optimized picking, optimized performance, and I've reduced that dependency on labor. I've reduced my dependency on, okay, what are the ramifications of the market volatility that's out there when I'm not saying there's going to be another pandemic, but during the pandemic, we saw what happened with the Suez Canal, for example, right? All of that volatility doesn't go away. It continues to, proceed and progress. So having that automation, whether it be AMRs or shuttles or what have you, is allowing these customers to flex when that volatility hits them and not have major impacts on their labor and their workforce.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, as long as we're talking about automation, let's talk about what is clearly top of mind for just about everybody in supply chain these days. Let's talk about robotics.
Yeah.
So walk us through that. What's going on there?
Item picking robots, that's where you see the greatest advancement right now. Obviously with case picking robots, that's been on the market for years and years and years. They're highly stable, they're efficient, they're effective. So that, I don't want to take away from the newness of that technology and the exciting times for some of the retail customers who are investing in that. But reality is the item picking robot market is advancing at an incredibly fast pace. And a lot of that is driven by the e-com market, which of course is a lot of item picks, right? So when you see the item picking robots, what you're seeing is a lot of different technologies on the market, different types of grippers, different types of suction cups, all the above, to handle all the varying SKU sizes and SKU products that each retailer and e-com retailer has in their portfolio.
One more question concerning robotics. Let's just kind of, look into your crystal ball, if you might, and tell us what you see happening in the next, 3, 4, 5 years or so in that area. What's going on there?
Vision technology is advancing drastically. So what you'll see is there's going to be a larger investment in trying to prevent the whole teach-in process. So as a customer who comes to you or me or whoever and says, hey, I've got this 100,000 SKUs, I want to put a robot in. Okay, well, I don't want to teach in 100,000 SKUs either. And then on the e-com side, you see millions of SKUs for some customers. I don't want to teach in all million SKUs because they're always evolving, always rotating, always changing. So you'll see on the item picking side a lot of investment, a lot of advancement on the teach-in side, as well as the potential of AI or vision systems to teach in on the fly. I mean, we see a lot of that kind of in marketing right now. What I'm waiting for is to see that come to fruition in the real world, where we see, okay, this customer has 100,000 SKUs. I'm teaching in as the tote comes in with this product. I know what it is. I don't know its dimensions yet, but maybe I pick it up and I teach it in the moment. That's when you're going to see in 3, 4, 5 years, that kind of technology, as it advances, then you're going to see a huge investment towards item picking robots.
Right. Interesting stuff, I must say. Listen, Jake, somebody out there presumably is not 100% familiar with what it is that Vanderlande does. So if you would walk us through for just a moment or two about the company, what its focus is,
Sure.
and more specifically, what are you doing to enhance the operations of your customer base?
Sure.
What would you say?
Vanderlande is a global company, and you're right. I know there's a lot of people in North America who don't recognize the name Vanderlande. We're changing that, as you can see here at the show. So if you want to come to the booth, it's right there up front. But of course, for Vanderlande, our goal is to be a partner and a solution provider. So our number one goal is to be that partner who comes in, understands your business, understands your processes, understands your network, what you're looking to achieve, tomorrow, today, and 10 years from now. And then how can we support that business through coming up with the proper solutions, with the proper automation. Again, the automation can be anything from shuttles to AMRs to robots, whatever it might be, but finding the solution that is going to benefit that customer the best moving forward.
Absolutely fascinating area in warehousing, I must say, and I'm so delighted that you found the time to sit down and speak with us about it today. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, this was a pleasure. Thank you.
Jake Heldenberg, Vanderlande, speaking with us today about labor challenges and solutions in the warehouse, perhaps in your warehouse. Thanks for watching.